My name is Stacey Stark. I am the liaison for Laboratory and Pathology Services for the Hospital Joint Commission Review Committee. We're going to be discussing some issues that have been raised with the upcoming 2018 accreditation year. So welcome clinical leaders, nurse managers, and other managers of administration to this committee meeting. We're going to talk about lab specimen recollection and the integrity of our results that is affected by this. We're going to discuss reducing the lab collection issues we have due to pre-analytical factors. We're going to define the problem, go over and review current solutions, and discuss a very innovative response I have prepared for you. Let's start by defining the problem. At our facility, as you all are aware, our specimen recollection rates are too high for compliance for Joint Commission. Issues such as clotted specimens, insufficient samples, tests not performed, our chemistry HIL indices are too high, and we also have an issue with having mislabeled specimens. For members of this committee who are aware how this directly affects the facility, we're going to discuss the cost, negative clinical implications, and patient discomfort that is all part of this problem. Let's start with cost. There was a study done by Stephen Kahn at Loyola University, and he found that the average added cost for each specimen that's recollected is $712 per specimen. When we take into account the type of lab we have here and what our volume of specimens entails, this means a median of 390 errors per million specimens is around $280,000. Our facility here runs about 1 million specimens per year, so the cost of our recollection is $280,000 per year. It's too high. It's too high for compliance, and our facility cannot keep up with that type of fee. Negative clinical implications is what we're going to discuss next. There's patient discomfort, which is increased due to this problem. There's a delay in the availability of results, which we know in turn means a delay in treatment. Along with this, there's a high rate of specimen test abandonment. If the provider does not have that result when they are seeing the patient, most of the time we know that they will stop using it. They will not order that test, and that can affect the type of quality care they're being delivered. Patient discomfort. All of us, whether we are lab, nursing, administration, our goal is to first do no harm. There are ethical implications for patients being put through recollection for discomfort because we're not following policies. We're not finding a way to address recollecting these specimens. Solutions. What do we currently have as solutions? Barcodes. We have implemented recently the use of barcodes that automatically populate the result to the interfaces in the field for results so that we know specimen integrity and specimen identification has taken place. We also have come up with various catchphrases on how to collect specimens, sayings about which order the specimens for laboratory to collect for EDTA contamination or for potassium chloride contamination. So there are catchphrases we are using, but it's not taking us far enough. We're not getting the results we need. And there's also discipline. For staff members and clinical individuals who do not collect specimens correctly, we're disciplining them. We're telling them that what they're doing is wrong, but we're still not getting there. These solutions are not currently working. The pros and cons of what we currently have. Pros, barcodes. We know that they are efficient, they're fast, they're reliable. Catchphrases, they can catch on very rapidly. This could be a route to provide rapid education. Discipline. This makes our clinical staff accountable. It holds them accountable for what they're doing and for following our policies and procedures for collecting specimens. The cons. What negative things occur due to the current solutions? Barcodes. We have higher errors. We know that we become lazy when we have barcodes. We have access. It's easier. It's efficient. It's something we just rely on to identify the specimen. This is not a culture that we can sustain because we have mislabeled specimens. We have incorrect labs being reported on the wrong patients because we're relying on these barcodes versus the old-fashioned date of birth, verifying their name and handwriting on the specimen. We may have to turn back to that, and I'll discuss that later in my innovative approach. Catchphrases, excuse me. We know they have a decreased impact. patients and clinical staff may use catchphrases, but over time, they don't become as efficient or effective. Discipline. This creates a negative culture. When our clinical staff feel like they are in the negative and that they're always doing wrong, and discipline is the only route we're using to correct this problem, we're not creating a positive culture for reinforcement for education and providing a way for them to feel confident in learning how to fix their mistakes. What do I propose? I propose an innovative approach. This means we're going to do a trifold approach. This is something that we haven't done. Usually when we do an approach to fix a problem like this, and especially for Joint Commission, we kind of singularly propose one approach. I'm going to do a trifold approach. We're going to do 3 different things. We're first going to appoint a clinical education ambassador. We're also going to do electronic notification software, and we're going to create a culture of accountability, but not the same culture we have that we've been using for discipline. The first step of this trifold approach is going to entail a clinical ambassador. What are they going to do? They're going to provide teaching hands-on in the field. They're going to go over the pre-analytical stages for each specimen and each type of test that we run here in the laboratory, and tell them, why is it clinically significant? Why is it important for us to not have EDTA contamination on a CBC in our chemistry? We'll do this by having weekly education tools that this ambassador will be providing to the clinical staff. This will allow our clinical staff and our collection, our nurses, all of your employees to connect the dots between why are we doing this? Why is it clinically important? This is going to reinforce our policy and our procedures to give them confidence and understanding why we are asking them to do what they do. The second step of my trifold approach is going to be electronic notification software. We currently track how specimens are recollected, who collected them, why they are recollected, but we don't have the ability to transmit this information specifically for each employee. So what this new system will do is assign a barcode or a number to each particular person as we receive the specimen. And then later on, when we go through and we look at our HLC indices, is it hemolyzed? Is it icteric? Is it lipemic? Did we go over how the specimen was collected? We're going to create this software that tracks this, and we're going to report this directly to you, the managers of the employees, so we can find out specifically what's going on. Is there a specific person that needs to go over certain policies, and we need to work closer with our ambassador to get them trained, to provide them with education. This will allow for accountability to be higher. It's more efficient to be accountable when we are able to track this specifically to each person versus the entire department. But there are some negative things with this. The cost of the software will probably be high, but this will be outweighed by the results we can achieve, and getting our Joint Commission accreditation is our primary goal. The third thing we're going to do is create a culture of accountability. If staff members are afraid to tell the truth about their mistakes, the mistakes will remain hidden and unfixable. We're going to remove discipline barriers. When we're telling them that they're doing something wrong but not providing education and support on how to fix it or why it's important to fix it, we're not having a culture of accountability that's positive. That's what we need to address. It's providing a culture of honesty over perfection. In conclusion, we know that there is not one answer to this problem. A trifold approach will take us there. We've never done an approach that has everything encompassed and everything covered. It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be tough. It might cost us some money. But the end result is that we're going to reduce how many specimens we have to recollect. We're going to reduce how many specimens are clotted. And overall, there's 2 things we're going to get. We're going to get our Joint Commission review to be completed. We're going to get our accreditation and get coverage for Medicare and Medicaid. And we're also going to be able to provide better results for our patients. My final thought is consider the following new definition of accountability. A personal choice to rise above one's circumstances and demonstrate the ownership necessary for achieving desired results. We're going to see it, we're going to own it, we're going to solve it, and we're going to do it. Thank you for joining me today, and good luck to us all.